I'm set. Okay, we're rolling.
Hi, I'm Brent Lindbergh from FuseNeo, and today on Unpacked, we're going to be talking about SIOC or SIOC. You need another acronym. SIOC stands for ships in its own container. What that means is that there's no extra packaging or materials or preparation required to ship it, just a label. A lot of you are nope, I'm already off your script. So a lot of you are getting more familiar with SIOC because of a letter that we received in September of 2018 from Amazon requiring a number of your products to arrive to Amazon in SIOC packaging. Don't freak out, it's okay. We're gonna help you through this. So in Amazon's letter, they're requiring items that are larger than 18 by 14 by 8 or 20 pounds to come to them in ready-to-ship packaging. That's packaging that has been tested and certified as SIOC. The 18 by 14 by 8, that's a question that we get a lot. How do I measure those dimensions? Pretty simply, it's your item's length, width, and height, and not on an angle, shoved in a corner, bent a little bit. It's as they sit here. This wonderful ice scraper is 25 inches. It exceeds that 18-inch dimension by 7 inches, obviously. So this would have to be SIOC as it comes to Amazon. So think of that 18 by 14 by 8 as an envelope. If it is more than, if any one of those dimensions exceeds, then it needs to be SIOC. So in this case, 25 inches is longer than 18. If my second largest dimension is longer than 14, and if my smallest dimension is larger than 8, any of those three dimensions will require it to be SIOC. But if all three of those dimensions are smaller, then it is not required to be SIOC. But as long as it is larger than 9 by 6 by 3/8 of an inch, it can be SIOC. And that's your option. You can make it SIOC and certify it. That 9 by 6 by 3/8 really comes from a shipping label being placed onto the largest flat. 9 by 6 is large enough to allow a 4 by 6 shipping label with some margin for placement. So let's say I have a pen. Let's say I have a pen like this. I could put it in a box like this, SIOC, but it doesn't really make sense. It's a waste of space. It's a lot of extra material. And as far as Amazon is concerned, it does not meet their volume requirements. So if you take the dimensions of your product and the dimensions of your packaging, the ratio between those two is one of the factors that Amazon looks at. A SIOC package needs to be at least 50% product to package. So the dimensions of your product divided by the dimensions of your package, that volume. For a fragile item, you're allowed more air, and so you have a 30% product to package ratio that you need to maintain in order to be certified with an Amazon system. Let's take a product like these headphones. These would be in the optional category because I could put a box around these and get a really good utilization in the 9 by 6 by 3-inch dimension, but it doesn't have to be. You really have that option as a brand. There are a couple reasons that brands really want SIOC packaging. That's one, they're controlling the experience. What's on the outside of the box, what's on the inside, all the elements that are there, they're controlling that whole experience. And SIOC packaging is really meant to be a sustainability effort. We want packaging to arrive to consumers undamaged in the right amount of packaging in the right size box. So we're not shipping around a bunch of extra material, we're not shipping around a bunch of extra air, and items are coming in pristine condition to consumers. There's a couple reasons that brands may not want their branding to show up on a doorstep. That could be high value items and concern about porch pirates and theft. That could be embarrassing items. They may not want these to show up to consumers with that branding on the outside of the box. Or that could be surprise and gifts. In that case, Amazon gives an option for packaging to be overboxed for that privacy and surprise factor. So if you have any comments? Anyone? In future videos, we're going to be talking more about the certification process and the steps to testing, as well as things like flexibles. But if you have questions, comments, please drop us a note. subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos.